Okay. So, Unsolved Mysteries was this thing in the '90s where they had Unsolved Mysteries, and they had Robert Stack, and he was, it was very ominous, and I'm like, oh, and then she disappeared. It would have it was mostly people who like just disappeared, and it was like weird, but that's the thing. It was just like, people would like, just disappear, and that would be a thing because it would like just, I don't know, get sick of, being whoever they are, doing whatever they're doing, and just like skip town and stuff. And it was harder to find people back then, I guess. It's like, you know, um, it's like, okay, this Midwestern housewife, she just got up and left one day, and, her husband comes home from work. It's like, hey, where's my wife? And then there are like weird clues, and, it's like, is she okay? Did she hit her head and lose her memory? And, it's like, now she probably just have like a Facebook page or something like that, just, update it. It's like, oh, skip town, move to Florida, having sex with somebody else. And, I don't know, but, or they just leave real obvious clues on the web or something like that, or just, use the, like, and these were like, middle-aged or old people disappearing usually, and be like, they would use their same email or something. It's like, oh, I don't want to start a new email, too much trouble, it was, but yeah, that was a thing. And, Unsolved Mysteries was kind of boring, but it was mostly like that, or somebody would die for some reason, and they didn't have a lot of stuff on the paranormal, but I mean sometimes they did, and they would be like really creepy with it too. I mean, because like there's Robert Stack, he was in a trench coat, and he was all like threatening and shit. And they did one. This family gets like this bunk bed that, like, I think they have to like paint it or something. It's like they got it like at a thrift store, and they got like this a really good deal on this bunk bed, but they kept it in the basement for a while. And then, the basement's haunted now because of the bunk bed. Like creepy shit happens. But so they move. I fucking chills now, man. But they move the bunk bed into the kid's room, because it's like children's bunk bed, and then all this fucking haunted shit starts happening. Like there's like fucking, you close your door at night, and there's a witch behind your door, and the radio comes on by itself, and it's like the devil on the other end of the radio, and it's just, all this fucking creepy shit, and so eventually they took the bunk bed out to like a field and burned it, or like they took it to the landfill and like watched the landfill guy run over it in his bulldozer to make sure that it was destroyed forever. And it's what do you do? I mean, how do you solve the mystery of the haunted bunk bed? I mean, you can't, because it's like it's subjective, and it's based on people seeing ghosts and stuff. And the other like, they didn't like really have, except for cops. They didn't really have like reality TV shows in the '90s as they were today, where they just like point cameras at people. But they had Rescue 911, which was about people getting hurt in like some very serious ways. And instead of, like they do nowadays, they just get like a camera crew into the ER, and, it's like, the guy's like, oh, I was shot in the face, I fell in the bathtub and like cut my arm open on the razor, and like, or, oh, I fell out of a chair in band class and cut my arm on my violin. That's what it's like now. And because they don't have to like pay actors. But in the '90s, what they would do, they had a show called Rescue 911, and there would be like people who would hurt themselves. Like, I was putting up a poster, and I fucking fell through the plate glass window, and I almost died, and they had to like rescue me, call the paramedics and shit. But they would have people who would hurt themselves, and then they would like go and get a guy to reenact how they hurt themselves, which was which it's kind of different. That's kind of cool. I mean, it's like nowadays, you just have it on their authority. When they're being filmed in the ER, it's like, yeah, I was being really super careful when I was like drilling the sheet metal and the drill went into my eye. But in Rescue 911, it's like none of that shit. It's like, yeah, I was drilling through some sheet metal and I had a cigarette in my mouth and I didn't have any safety glasses on. And I was like, oh, the cigarette's not going to light myself. So I figured, I can just hold the lighter with my hand and light the cigarette. And, oh God, my fucking eye. And they would do that. And it would be like in black and white too. So, I mean, I don't know why it was in black and white. I mean, I don't even remember if it was like really in black and white or not. But it would be cheaper to have fake blood, and you could like show it to like little kids because it wouldn't be as gruesome. But that was Rescue 911, and like what they do nowadays is they like reenactments too. This is kind of newer, but they had this is into the 2000s, but maybe the early 2000s. They had like a haunting. They had like a really long one, like a haunting in Connecticut, and it was like people are like, hey, let's rent a house, and like, oh, the house we rented used to be like a funeral home, and it was like they left the God, I know the name for this because I used to like read like forensic science books and stuff. And but they had like the funeral home table that they embalm people in the basement, which was actually like a really good deal if it's yours, because it's like that's like stainless steel, and you probably get like good scrap money for that. But it was all haunted as shit, and the kid that was down there was like 13, and being like moody and teenager and like writing dark poetry and stuff. That's probably just that's not the devil. That's just like what kids do. So you're 13, 14, you don't understand the world. You hate everything. You want to listen to Marilyn Manson. You want to fucking write your poetry in your basement and stuff, and, talk to spirits. But shit got all creepy. But they did a whole series of this for a while. And I think they had it on like, it wasn't like the Discovery Channel or the Learning Channel or something. It was something that was supposed to be like educational, but it's not, because it's like ghosts, and they're like, there's no skepticism whatsoever. It's just, I was making breakfast and like the devil appeared and shot fireballs at me, and they would have like a really bad CGI thing. And also these people in there are like, just kind of weird looking, but then they get like actors that are like obviously a lot more attractive than them to like dress up as them, It's like, yeah, I was in my sleeveless denim vest with the stains on it. And, it's just, that's what they would do. But they would like hire somebody, that was like more attractive and like not horribly overweight. And I don't want to, like, it's like the religious people are retarded, but it's like a lot of these people are just like, they're just like all religious, and they're just prone to believe in spiritism, I guess. But it's like, I've noticed that, not just like, it's a weird house and they're like, I see ghosts, but like all the people are like, they're poltergeists and stuff. It's all Catholics, it's just, yeah, I mean, that's like more spirity than a lot of like the mainline Protestantism thing. It's just like, it's not like, we think that, Jesus is super cool and stuff. And like the Bible is like a good guide to life and, being a good guy and going to heaven. But it's like, no, it's like, there's this guy in Rome and he is like in command, and he is like, he's the guy who gets to talk to God. And there's a hierarchy. There's his sub bosses, who can kind of talk to God, and it's just this structure of who can and who can't talk to God, and it's like, I don't know. It's like Martin Luther may have been like an anti-Semite and a weirdo, but he was like, hey, this is stupid, stop stop talking in Latin. It's not like Roman times anymore, unless you're in Italy, and then you can talk in Latin. Well, actually, they would. God, by like the 1600s, they'd probably speak in Italian and not Latin, but that would like make more sense. But yeah, it's if you're seeing ghosts, you're probably like just inclined to believe in that thing anyway. So it's like, it's not like the science guy, is just, oh, I was sitting down minding my own business and suddenly spirits, but it's like, no, it's just, yeah, the poltergeist started turning over my precious moments figurine, my Jesus ashtrays and stuff, and just they're religious weirdos, and no wonder they're seeing ghosts. You shouldn't put them on TV, idiots. So, I don't know. But yeah, they have reruns of Unsolved Mysteries on. I think it's on like Lifetime for some weird reason all the time. It's like, if you're into Unsolved Mysteries now, you're probably a girl. So that's what they're going by. But I was like 11, 12 years old. It's like it's like, hey, it's like there are people in the Midwest, and they go missing, and it's weird, and then sometimes there are ghosts. And yeah, but speaking of like, I don't know if it was like Lifetime or something, but there was a made for TV movie that I remember. This kind of goes into like the reenacting things. There was this guy who like he beat up on his wife, and he was just like this big asshole and this big drunk, and he got to the point where that was like, not beating his wife was not good enough. So he dug a grave in the backyard, and he would bury his wife. And she was buried in like this homemade coffin that he made for like a couple days. It was like that was the thing. It was like buried alive, the something story. And they had like all kinds of fucking made for TV movies like that. And that was like a big thing back then. But I'll talk more about that later. But that was the thing. She was like, her husband was a dickhole and buried her alive, and it was like very frightening, and she almost died, but she was rescued in time because I guess she had air down there somehow. But there were a lot of made for TV movies. I'll get into that in a second. I'll just start a new fucking video.